1908 and 1911, but it was officially opened, as you can see of the date up there, the date 1913, when Crete was reunited with the rest of Greece. And this market is built on top of the Venetian walls, which you see here on the left-hand side. And this area where we are standing now, it was much deeper, about 20 meters further down, and it was empty as a better defense. So this street behind us is in a way nowadays the border between the new and the old town. The town is behind the walls, down to the sea as well. And this market is built in the shape of a cross. So inside there are mainly food products that are being sold. I'll show you a few things all the time if you want to go. Come this way for a minute. So in case, and also here please, when we walk as a group, mind a little bit your personal things.
Some commission.
Few of our products you can see here. All the dairy products, you see the cheese in here, that's made from sheep, this yellow cheese. It's really tasty if you like, and they always have a little piece of it. Then the white one, it's made from the meat of goats. And honey you will find everywhere, made from pine. All different kinds of honey. Green, black ones, there's no different kinds. They're all we have about 15 different recipes of how to cook snails. It's amazing. They're very healthy. I don't eat them personally, but they contain so much iron. So this is the first thing doctors recommend to pregnant ladies because of so much iron that they contain.
There are snails in there?
Yeah, and they're dry. They're dry, but of course, yeah, when you buy them, you're feeding them. They're alive in there. They're alive. So we feed them. They're alive in there. So we feed them for about 2-3 days. We feed them with pasta or noodles, oregano that you pick in the mountains. This is also a kind of herb that grows only here in Crete, over 600 meters, and we cook it as tea. It's nice, and we drink it with the honey as well. This one, bring a bit down. And this is also another kind of herb, tea that grows in the mountains. Vegetables, fruit. Unfortunately, a few souvenir shops, we're totally against it because there's so many souvenir shops everywhere in leather goods in the leather street. So we didn't want to have them over here as well, but unfortunately they opened a few shops. And this side here is mainly the fish market. This side is mainly the meat market. And they're very good tavernas over here as well, where a lot of local people come to eat. Here you will find fish and here meat, but also different kinds of Greek traditional dishes.
Free Wi-Fi.
It's nice here. Finally, the breeze we were talking about. Well, this area is still used. I mean, there are so many churches around. First of all, behind us we have our main Greek Orthodox church that is dedicated to the presentation of Virgin Mary. Actually, it has one is dedicated to Maria. One part is dedicated to Saint Nicholas. palace, and the other part is dedicated to the three hierarchs, like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And this church celebrates now the 150 years from its existence, from the time it was built. It's really a beautiful building. If you like, we can go inside and take us stairs. It's too much. But on the top of this building, there are several little domes. And on them, on top of them, you will see holes that are closed now for the steam to come up through when they were used, when it was used as a Turkish bath. Let's go inside. I don't know if you've ever been in a Greek Orthodox church inside. But just the basic things, I don't want to convert you, just the basic things to explain here is it's a very big building. It's our cathedral here in the town, so all the big holidays, Christmas, Easter, they're celebrated here, and especially Easter time is the most important religious day here in Greece. But anyway, in all our churches, you see, first of all, this very, very big area where we actually stand during the service. Only the cathedrals nowadays, you will find chairs. We stand, but our service takes a long time. It starts at 7 o'clock and it goes until 9:30. If it's not a memorial service as well for somebody. But only for older people who can't stand for such a long time. There are these benches along the walls, there for the ladies, there for the gentlemen. And there you can either sit or you can lift a part of these, and you can still stand in between but lean if it's an older person. Because of course there are certain moments when there are hymns for Maria and Jesus Christ and you have to stand. And I'll explain why they're the ladies and why they're the men. So this is the area for us. Then it is this house. He's married to a lady from there, and he played yesterday in the Lincoln Center.
Oh, was he a musician? What does he play?
Guitar, very good.
Really?
Yeah.
A musical family?
Yeah, my mother was studied classical music and she was a soprano.
Really?
He's great. He married an American lady. He met her over here, and then they stayed over here a few years, and then he moved to New York.
Your mother?
My mother was in soprano, lyric soprano. Yesterday.
Wow.
Wow.
So, I bring you down this way because you can get a picture of the old town of it. All the goats shown over there. You see them, the void, the empty space. That is that shows the wild goat that is a symbol here of Kenya. And you see also the mixture, this wooden facade. So this is totally Turkish architecture that has been restored now in the last 10 years. Let's go down this way.
Now see, this is
Another photo op. Yeah, right. Photoshop are op, right? No, never mind photo op.
Là, je te mets des papiers dans le truc.
Now that was the street we came up on.
Games in Athens, and in the Venetian times there was a fountain over here, the end of an aqueduct that will lead the water from the mountains down here. And in this area was also the main administration place of the town in the beginning of the 20th century, which was unfortunately that building that is being restored at the moment. It's like a ruin today. That was the original Venetian Admiralty, and it became later on the City Hall in the beginning of the 20th century. And nowadays it's being restored. But I don't want you to stop in the sun. As soon as you come out from here, if you turn around here behind us, there are the oldest fortification walls of Cagnano. Perfect, thank you very much. I borrowed for a moment. There are these walls over here, and you're going to see this part. And they are from 700 after time. Big titanium walls. So the older town was right behind this area, and that's where the archaeologists found the remains of the Minoan times to say. And exactly here it is. Right. So from here now you can see a few things around the Venetian harbour, and it is actually a very big one. It has this basin here, but it continues all the way to the right, and that's an artificial basin because it was blocked from the north side with a mole that finishes with a light tower. And the very first light tower doesn't stand anymore. This is a building of the Egyptians. You remember I told you about them. They were here between 1830 and 1840, and the light tower there, then it was in a very bad condition. So they restored it, and it is actually the oldest light tower in the Mediterranean 10 years ago. Now, from the light tower over to the walls on the left, which are now behind this boat here, the Venetians had a thick chain to block the harbour so that the enemies with their galleys wouldn't be able to sail into the harbour. And this building you see on the right hand side, that's the mosque I mentioned earlier. That's the only one the Turks built from the very beginning as a mosque. Otherwise they just converted the Catholic churches of the Venetians every time into a mosque. Street up here, and there were two synagogues. One, the very bottom of the street, further down on the right, which was totally destroyed when the town was bombed by the Germans in the Second World War. Second one, it was standing as a ruin until about 15 years ago, and now it's been renovated, and it is the only synagogue we have still in Crete, but without Jewish community. The very first Jewish community here in Crete is actually in the 2nd century BC, down on the south coast. Most wars, so that German boat was torpedoed by British soldiers. And now there is no Jewish community. But there are some things. The first parallel street on the left as it comes down towards the seafront. I wanted to stop over here for a minute. This is a very interesting building. That's an old church dedicated to the family, you know the name as well, it was the family Ranieri. we see the main entrance here of this beautiful house. Unfortunately, not so much is standing anymore, but very well preserved the entrance, where we have an inscription in Latin, as you can see up here, and the emblem of the family Ranieri right in the center. A lot has done and studied the sweet father. He has sweated and he was in pain, but now he may rest in peace. And this most probably his children had written over here. And this house had a private church, private chapel. Let's go through it. I'll show you. This is the entrance of the private chapel. If you come closer, you will see it, and we carry on down this way.
No, they don't.
Originally Venetian, where you will see this fantastic, well here they've just restored it. Maybe better is this corner over here. You will see these very thick corners with big blocks of stone. So this is totally Venetian. But then, when Crete became the capital in 1851, people were still staying within the walls, so it was necessary to gain living space because people from the villages would come down here. So they started building upwards, so certain floors on top. And then, of course, it was Turkish architecture, which you can see over here, with the wooden facade there on the left-hand side. And this is one of these old buildings that belong to a big family. And we go past some rooms to rent. There is a room. If it's not rented, it's so nice to look in. Come on, this side.
Boudoir.
show to you here in the town. Is there anything that you would like to ask? Anything that you would like to need to, what you need now during this break here in the town? No?
How about a lunch recommendation?
Lunch
Restaurant.
recommendation.
Besides the Turkish one back there.
Yeah, there is, I mean, a very good place here in the seafront is where the Evangelos boat trips stays, the boat.
Ah, questo guarda, questo è un altro museo, vedi, il museo marittimo di Creta, tipo quello che abbiamo qui. I know, where from?
You can have one overdeveloped army there.
Was it a half a day?
Well,